Well, the transition from high school to college is an exciting milestone, and for many, this means moving away from home. However, unforeseen circumstances can be a pain for underinsured college students. Doug Shupe with AAA Texas is here to talk about the importance of reviewing your family's insurance policies. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach.
How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
Anytime. So, as we all know, that transition from high school to college, a lot to do, right?
Right.
And families are busy checking off all the items on that checklist. And this is not to add to that checklist, but this is something to be aware of, cognizant about.
You're right. You really want to make sure that your college student is insured, has enough coverage. We know that dorm rooms are a hot spot for thieves. You know, and two college roommates, they can have more than $6,000 worth of laptops, smartphones, you know, monitors, gaming systems. And so we really want to make sure that they are covered should there be anything that happens. And also the Department of Education data on property crimes reports show that burglary is the most common crime on college campuses, followed by motor vehicle theft. So it's important to protect those vehicles as well.
You know, you bring me back to an incident that we covered just last week. We're going to actually be talking about it a little later in the show. And that was that U of H student who was held at gunpoint inside his dorm room early last week. You also mentioned car thefts. Talk to us about keeping your vehicle safe and preventing those break-ins.
Absolutely. Parents and guardians, talk with your college students about always parking in parking garages, well-lit areas, making sure that you're not leaving anything of value. You know, something as simple as a couple of dollars and change could be enticing to someone to break into that vehicle.
Especially if they can see it.
Absolutely. You know, so take all of your computer bags and everything inside your dorm room. Make sure all of your doors are always locked. Never leave them unlocked. And some other things that you want to do is if your vehicle doesn't have an alarm system on it, if it wasn't on there when you purchased it, or an anti-theft tracking device, you want to have it installed on that vehicle.
Oh, that's really smart.
And for those who are actually going to be living in a dorm room, it's important to note that some of those personal possessions may be covered by their parents' policy. However, there may be limits to certain electronics and expensive items, so it's always a good idea to speak with your AAA Texas insurance agent or other insurance provider to make sure that they're covered. If your student is living off campus, you really want to purchase renter's insurance. Yes, because that will, of course, protect the contents in the home, but also provide protection from any liability should someone be injured in the apartment.
And in 2024, a lot of places, especially off-campus housing, they require your child to have those policies in place.
Yeah, and keep in mind also, someone becomes a victim of identity theft every 2 seconds. And of course, college students, they're using shared spaces. You know, in coffee shops, out in the courtyards.
Signing on to different Wi-Fis.
Exactly. Make sure that your students are protecting their files, using strong passwords, and also, you know, keeping their social media private as well. Very important to protect their own identity.
Not to scare you. Not to scare you at all.
College
this is just to better prepare you.
Exactly.
And for some, especially when it's the parents, when it's their first child going off to school, this is foreign. They don't. There's not necessarily a book, right, that walks you through these steps.
And and you're thinking about all of the other things, the books that need to be purchased, and getting that actual dorm room, you know, situated, getting it all ready to go. But thinking about protecting that college student from incidentals or other, you know, crimes that may happen on college campuses is very important.
Making sure you're insured. For more information, where can people go, Doug?
They can certainly go to AAA.com to find out more.
Doug Shupe, as always, thank you very much.
Thank you,
we
Zach.
Appreciate it.